I did bring a yoga block today. This can be helpful. Sometimes when seated with legs crossed, I do see people whose knees are up here, and sitting up on a block can give you a little lift that helps bring the knees down and get more of an opening in the groin area and opening up the hips too. So if you don't have a yoga block, you can always use a folded up towel or blanket or a small pillow. Um, just use whatever works, especially when you're at home, as you are. I hope that you can hear me over the music. I think I'll turn it down just a bit. So hopefully you're in a warm, cozy space. And we're going to ground into gratitude. So those sitting bones are grounding into the block, pillow, mat. Think about them grounding into the earth, where we're going to gain our energy. So as we're seated, let's loop the shoulders down the back. And I think I can do without this at this point. So shoulders are down and back, and then that automatically lifts up the heart space. Want to be lengthening up through the spine. And you can keep your hands on your lap, or you can take a mudra that I'm going to be doing myself. It's called the Lotus Mudra. And I'm going to be giving as much instruction as I can because I realize some of you are using very small screens and might not be able to see. So I'm bringing my palms together with all of the fingers and thumbs touching. So I'm pressing together, but then keeping the pinkies and thumbs connected. Let's open up the palms and open up the fingers. So I'm making a lotus flower with my hands, and then my thumb knuckles are coming to my sternum. So I'm going to lift that sternum up into the thumbs, and this is Lotus Mudra. Elbows are just coming down as the shoulders are still looping back. So I get a little bit of a lift here. And now begin to focus on your breathing. So we're inhaling and exhaling through the nose, taking as deep of breaths as we can, and pausing in those breaths when we can. So find the length of breath that works for you. And fully exhale. We can take pause at the top of the breath and at the bottom as well. And if you're in a space where you can close your eyes, you can close your eyes, or just find a soft and steady gaze. So we're not looking around the room, looking at what needs to be cleaned or things out of order. We're just focusing on this moment right now. So the mantra for today is I am grateful. It's also called an affirmation. And it can be as simple as that. I am grateful. We have many things to be grateful for. We don't always recognize them in every moment. But having an attitude of gratitude can change your life. It's not an easy practice. It does take practice. So I encourage you to, as you go throughout your day, remember, I am grateful. Let's take one more deep breath here. Maybe a cleansing breath. Breathe in through the nose as much air as you can. Pause for as long as you can. And then open the mouth and let it all out. All right, bring those fingers all back together, hands in prayer. Inhale the arms all the way up, and then exhale, sweep them out to the sides. So keeping that lift and straightness of the spine. Let's bring the chin down to the chest and just make some small movements with the head and neck. Nodding yes. Just shaking the head no. Continue the deep breathing throughout your entire practice as you are able. Maybe bringing the chin down to the chest and taking some neck rolls. Fingertips can be on the floor, supported, or if you're okay with keeping them on your lap, then that's great too. Maybe we breathe the shoulders up next to the ears and then find some more space there. Mine are a little bit crunchy today. All the way up and all the way down and around. I'm going to take my hands back together, interlace those fingers, push away on an exhale. And as I do, keeping my hands in line with the shoulders, I'm going to round through the back. So sit bones are grounded. Now in an inhale, I'm going to straighten that spine once again, reach all the way up. And just take a little side body stretch over to the right. Inhale back to center and over to the left. The opposite sitting bone is always grounding down as much as we can. One more time on each side. Little roots growing out and finding that positive earth energy. Inhale, release the hands, look up. Exhale, float the hands down. Now as we continue to loop the shoulders down and back, let's walk the fingertips as far back and together as we can, finding that heart lifting up, but shining it forward. One more inhale. Maybe the gaze comes up. And exhale, release. Let's breathe all the way up through heart center once again. And now we'll take a twist. So my left hand will be coming down to the right knee, and then the right hand reaching back behind. And I'm twisting from the navel, and I'm never really pulling into the twist, but just gently guiding as I look over the shoulder. One more inhale. And exhale, unravel, come back to center. When you're ready, breathe all the way up and transition to the other side. So waking up the digestive tract. When we take our twists, we stop the flow of all of the fluids that are involved in the digestive system, and we won't get into all of that. But when we release, we get a rush. So one more inhale and exhale. Freeze it all up, sends it all through. So that'll be great if you're planning to have a good, healthy, but large meal this week. Then do some twists. Keep that in mind. Not when you have a full belly, but before and a couple hours after. How about that? All right. So now it's time to come onto all fours. So be facing the top of your mat, or make this side the top of your mat for today. We're going to make a nice strong foundation, spreading the fingers nice and wide. And then taking knees right under the hips. And we are pressing down through that foundation, so there's no sag in the back right now. We have a nice firm and long back here. So the spine energetically is reaching from the crown of the head and also through the tail. If you could then draw that navel into spine and firm the belly. So take a breath here. On an exhale, we're going to round and push that mat away. So separation through the shoulder blades, really drawing that chin into the chest, tucking tail. And this time on an inhale, we'll transition through that flat back, but come into cow, where we broaden through the collarbones, lift the tail, lift the crown, and lengthen through the belly. So moving through that cow and cat pose in time with your own breath, pressing into those tops of the feet, clawing through the fingertips. You can shift this forward and back or side to side as your body needs. We'll just take one more flow. Now inhale to a neutral spine, pressing into the tops of the feet, separating through the shoulder blades. On an exhale, just lift those knees slightly. You're really going to fire up that core. Breathe through it. Claw through all 10 fingers. One more inhale. And exhale, release the knees down. Great job. Take those knees out wide to the outer edges of the mat or going in that direction. Big toes come to touch. We're going to send the hips back. So coming into child's pose, this is your resting pose, your go-to when you need to take a break. And feel free to take breaks when you need to. Walk your fingertips out as far as they can go. Release the forearms down, forehead down to the mat. Press through the hands to get the hips closer to the heels. And enjoy this heart opener, shoulder stretch, relief in the lower back. You can always adjust the angle of your knees, take them out wider or more narrow, whatever feels good for you. So take one more breath in your child's pose. And now walk your hands in just about one hand distance closer to you. We're going to bring the hips back over the knees. So draw those knees in line with the hips and the shoulders. All right, firm that belly once again. Lengthen from crown to tail. And on an inhale, going to breathe your right leg back. We're going to press through that heel and just activating the back of that leg. We can bring the left arm to reach forward as well. Think about stretching as far as you can with those limbs, but then draw the shoulder back and then make sure that your hip is in line with the other hip. All right, so again, core work here. One more inhale. And on an exhale, pressing into the foot, pressing into the fingers, we're going to round and squeeze. Knee to nose. Inhale, press back. And exhale, release. Square up once again. Firm the belly, lengthen through the spine. Your next inhale presses the left leg back. All right, find your balance. Find a focal point on that mat. Take the right hand forward. Reach as far as you can, and then plug into your center. Hug the navel into the spine. Focus on your core strength. Take one more inhale, gazes down. On an exhale, round, knee to nose. Really squeeze. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, release. Wonderful job. Now walk your hands back out and curl toes under. We're going to send the hips back and up and press into our first downward facing dog. So as we begin to warm up the calves, Achilles, and stretch through the feet, pedal your legs out, bending knees, maybe sending hips side to side. Really notice how your body is feeling. We can breathe the heels up toward the sky, lengthen them down toward the mat. As we're lifting the hips, the chest comes closer to the thighs. So find the movements that work for you. You can be looking under one arm or the other. Once you've gotten all the kinks out, let's take a moment to pause and just focus on the breath. And then this time, as you let's complete the phrase, I am grateful. We're going to add, I am grateful for something, whatever pops into your mind. And remember that lotus flower, lotus grows from the mud. So sometimes we need to be grateful for the challenge, because with the challenge, we find growth. So no mud, no lotus. All right. We're feeling good. We're going to look between the hands on an inhale, and on an exhale, crawl all the way up to the top of the mat. Let's take our feet out, hip distance or wider. We're going to bring the chest down to the thighs, crown coming toward the floor, bending your knees, getting a release in the lower back, a little bit of stretch in the hamstrings here. If your back allows, you can take your fingers off the mat, grab onto opposite elbows, and let that upper body hang. Think about finding space between all of the vertebrae. And maybe you take a little sway side to side. We're finding what feels good. as we're able to give our full attention to the body and the breath. All right, so let's all take our hands down to the mat. We're gonna really pull that navel in, so activating the core, and then bringing the chin toward the chest. We want a nice round back here because we're gonna bend the knees and just take our time and roll all the way up to standing. So press down through the foundation of the feet, and then just take your normal stance here. I have a bit of lordosis in my back. My normal stance is a little tilt here. So let's actually find our mountain pose. So with our mountain pose, pressing down through all four corners of the feet, we're going to have a soft bend in the knees and then a slight tilt through the pelvis. We want to lengthen the tailbone down to the mat. And as you do that, you'll feel the core start to fire up, and we loop the shoulders down the back. Tuck your chin in slightly. We're lifting up above the kneecaps. And then hands kind of rotating from the shoulders all the way down to the fingertips. And let's take those arms out about 45 degrees. And just breathe here. Inhale, positive energy in. Exhale, positive energy out. Send it throughout the house. This time we'll add a little bit of movement as we inhale, and we're going to take the palms all the way up. Kiss those palms together and then sweep them back down to your sides. Now, if you want to add a little bend in the knees, this time we'll sweep again all the way up, palms up. Kiss the palms together. Maybe the gaze comes up and then sweep them down. One more big breath up, positive energy. And this time the hands come through heart centers. We'll bring those palms together and take a flat back all the way down to forward fold. The legs a little straighter if you can. Still trying to bring chest to thighs and crown toward the mat. So we're looking between those legs behind us, taking that soft gaze. Navel is drawn in. Use your next inhale. Strength of that back, lifting up halfway. We're going to lengthen. Hands can come to shins or thighs or remain on the floor. On your exhale, on your out breath, take the hands down. Plant your fingertips or your palms, bend your knees. We're going to step the left leg back and the right. Come into a plank. So you can have a high plank or a low plank with knees lowered down. Firm foundation, claw through the fingers. Think about that line as though you have a board on your back, resting on the back of your head and to the hips and all the way down to the knees, or if your knees are lifted, all the way down to the heels. Take one more inhale. Make sure that the elbow creases are rotated forward, because as we lower down, we want those elbows to hug in. So let's lower all the way down to the mat, coming onto your belly. Release to the tops of the feet, press down through the pubic bone. Let's take our fingertips way back to the chest, elbows up, and leading with, bring your chin into the chest. Let's lead with the back of the neck, taking an inhale, cobra, as we lift with the strength of the back, and exhale, float it down. Let's try that once again. Inhale, cobra, press down through your foundation, lift with the back, and take it down. Very good. Now, if you're on your fingertips, come down to the palms. Inhale, either to all fours or press up into your plank. And exhale to your downward facing dog, where we will meet. Pedal out if you need to, or find that stillness. I am grateful for this moment. All right. Inhale, sweep your right leg up. Exhale, round and squeeze. Bring that chin into chest. And let's place that foot right between the hands. Keeping the back heel lift. Actually, let's lower the back knee and just shift, waking up the hip flexors a little bit. So we can shift forward and back. Toes come up. We send the hips down. In time that works for you. It doesn't have to be with the breath. Just warming up here, taking a little shift side to side if that feels good. And then let's all lower the knee down. Walk or sweep the hands up to crescent moon. So tuck, let's press into that front foot and really center and ground through the feet and find that balance from front to back. And we can use our exhale as we press into that foot, press into the toes that are curling under. Maybe add a slight back bend, reaching back behind you. On the inhale, straighten, start to lower down. On the exhale, lift that back knee. This time we'll rock to the top of the mat. Use your exhale to fold. Inhale, round or rise up flat back to tall mountain. And we'll meet with hands at heart. Let's take our Lotus Mudra, connecting thumb knuckles, opening up that flower. Thumbs and pinky fingers still touching, tuck tail under, loop the shoulders down, lift up the front body, ground down the back body. Put something in that lotus flower, an offering of gratitude I'm grateful for. And on an inhale, let's lift that up. And exhale, find your way to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and fold again. Stepping your right leg back, stacking knee over ankle, releasing the back knee, and shifting weight forward and back. If you're on a hard surface, it may be helpful to kind of double up the side of the mat whenever you're on those knees, but maybe you're in a carpeted environment where you have a little extra padding. So inhale, shift back to the front. Exhale, lift up that knee. Inhale, rock forward. And exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Maybe the arms come out to the side. We use that strength of the back. Once we get to the top in tall mountain, just find your way back to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And fold again. Stepping your right leg back and the left. Finding your plank from belly. Squeeze your quads. Separate through the shoulders. Press down through all 10 fingers. Rotate those elbow creases to the front. On an inhale, maybe shift forward slightly. Exhale, lowering all the way down to your belly or about halfway. And then coming up into your up dog. Hips and or knees lifted. Find your way to downward facing dog, coming through all fours, pressing up into your plank, or peeling your way through to down dog. On an inhale, so take the leg that is farther away from your screen, which would be my left leg. I'm going to sweep that leg up, pointing the toes, and on an exhale, bending the knee. So as I bend the knee, I also want to rotate through the hip so that foot comes back behind my other hip, and the knee is reaching up toward the sky. Now I check in with the shoulders. I want to have them level, so I'm pushing equally into all of the fingertips. And then maybe I take a couple of ankle circles here just to give some attention to my feet and ankles that take me everywhere I need to go. On an inhale, let's level the hips. Point that toe once again Exhale, round and squeeze. And then let's place that foot right between the hands. Drop the heel and sweep up into a warrior one. So the heel is pressing down and the toes are not facing forward, but kind of at an angle here. And find one that works for you. We're wanting the hips to be open to the top of the mat. And we're lowering the knee till it's right over the ankle. So once your hips are in place, loop the shoulders down and back. And we can inhale the arms up, keeping those shoulders plugged in. Take another mudra, interlace all of the fingers. Except for the index fingers, leave those out. You can take one more inhale. Maybe your exhale takes a little back bend. Inhale, release, sweep the hands back behind you. Interlace the other way, pulling shoulders down and away, and knuckles coming down toward the earth. Feel your heart rise. Use your breath to float the upper body down toward that thigh or to the inside of the leg. Maybe the thumb knuckles come up, maybe they rest here. Now use the strength of your back. Inhale, tighten up, and rise. Exhale, release. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, float them down. Great job. Step back to your plank, your version. Take a flow here. So it's a vinyasa, a flow. It is a shifting, a lowering, a lifting, and meeting back in downward facing dog. So use your breath. Take as much time as you need. We'll take a couple of breaths in that downward facing dog. So we'll all meet up together. Add something else to your gratitude list. As simple or complex as it is. So let's inhale, lower the knees. Exhale, take the foot that's closest to me, or this would be my right foot. We do need to do, crescent moon on this side. So if you've already done crescent moon on this side, go ahead and take the time to switch your legs. We're going to press into that front foot, all four corners. Keep the toes curled under for pressure off the knee. We'll sweep our arms up. Use your breath to maybe press a little firmer into those feet and reach back. And then float the arms down. And step back into step back into downward facing dog. Inhale, look between the hands. Crawl, walk, hop, or float to the top of the mat, your forward fold. Inhale, rise and shine. All the way up to tall mountain. Exhale, weight in the heels. Sink the hips back. Hands come to heart. For chair pose, you should be able to see your toes. Looping the shoulders down and back to keep the heart lifting up, broadening through the collarbones, tucking tail under slightly. We'll go into moving chair. So if you'd like to continue working in chair, you can hang out here. Otherwise, a little bit of relief as we lift up energetically, reaching up to the sky, stretching through the side body, and sinking maybe a little bit lower. Tucking tail, core engagement, moving with your breath, building heat, building strength, finding balance and equanimity. Sink low. Little balance challenge here. If you want to lift both heels, you can lift as little as just slipping a piece of paper underneath or rise up onto the balls of the feet. Connect to the breath. Use your exhale to lower. Inhale all the way up And then seal down. Take your time on the out breath to forward fold. Step back, one more vinyasa, or just hang out in downward facing dog. Adding some challenge, finding growth, maybe a push-up or two. Full or modified. We'll meet in down dog. Take your cobra, your up dog. Find what feels good for you. So I'm going to be sweeping my left leg up again. The leg that's farther away from the screen. This time level the hips, flex the foot. Use your exhale to round and squeeze. You can point the toes now, and then plant that foot right between the hands. Now coming up into a warrior two. So the back toes are going to face the long edge of the mat, and the front knee stacked over the ankle, hips and heart open to the side here. And then we breathe the arms away. So fingertips energetically reaching forward to back. Foot energy, outer blade, front toes. And then gazing softly out beyond the fingertips. Shoulders are down and away. Big breath here. Use your next inhale, keeping the legs the same, shifting forward from the hips. And then exhale, turn that palm. We're going to reach up and back all the way from the hip. We can use this back hand on the back leg for support, or wrap this around behind your back. Maybe you find the hip crease here. And gaze can be down at that back foot, can be out to the side. Really press into that foundation. Can be up to the inside of the arm. One more inhale. Exhale. Legs stay the same. Arms and upper body moving, coming into extended side angle. So side angle, extended side angle, reaching. Forearm can be on the thigh, or if this is available to you, grab your block, or maybe you can take this all the way down. We want to stay open to the side wall. One more inhale. Exhale, pull that arm in closer, hand in closer to the shoulder, so we're not risking injury here. We're going to take the hands down. Frame the foot. Make sure that, actually take your back hand, place both hands on the inside of the foot. We're going to walk to center with legs out nice and wide and find a forward fold. So toes in slightly, heels slightly out. Bring the crown toward the mat. We're going to move with the breath, so keep your hands right under your head. Inhale, halfway lift. Flat back, exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Press into all four corners of the feet. Exhale, fold. This will be our last time here. Inhale, halfway lift. And fold. Keeping your hands underneath, lift that upper body, heel toe, the feet in. So they're about as wide as your yoga mat. Draw that navel in, bend the knees, and let's let that upper body stay as we press down and roll slowly all the way up. All right, now turn those toes out. We're going to come into goddess squat. So knees will be going in the direction of the toes. We're going to tuck the tailbone under slightly in our Superman, Superwoman pose right now. Let's breathe the arms all the way up to the corners. Find star. And on an exhale, let's bend the knees. So keep those arms where they are and focus on the legs right now. So knees are going in the direction of the toes. Sinking as low as you're comfortable. On an inhale, we rise. On an exhale, now adding some arm movement, pull the elbows down toward the knees, open up the heart, and arms are really, really strong here. Inhale, once again, reach. Exhale, bring it down. And last time, reach. This time, hands come together and we sink into prayer squat. So, prayer squat. If your arms are tired, you can feel free to let those elbows come down, or we can be pushing together, elbows reaching out, hands pressing in for one more breath. All right. Grounding in, let's rise and release. Great job. All right. Step 2, the top of your mat, we're going to be facing away. And this time, sweeping arms all the way up, sailing down to forward fold. And then with the navel drawn in, let's walk our hands out and find downward facing dog. One more breath here. I am grateful for. Commit to it. Heels toward the mat. Sweep your right leg up or opposite leg that you did before. Let's bend the knees, stack the hip, open that up. Ankle circles. Both directions, snapping, cracking, all normal, we know. Press down through the shoulders, evenly through the hands. Use your next in-breath to level the hips. Let's flex the foot. Round and squeeze. And plant that foot right between the hands, guided if needed. Back foot at an angle, coming up into warrior one. Knee over ankle, guiding the hips as needed, adjusting the angle as needed. Taking your feet out nice and wide if that feels better for you. Sweeping arms up, interlacing other fingers on top to confuse our brains. Shoulders stay plugged in as we reach up and press down. Opposing forces here. Take another inhale and exhale, maybe reach back, maybe back bend. Inhale, arms sweep forward, and then come back on an exhale. Again, interlacing other fingers on top. Let's pull down and away. Use the breath to lift up. Exhale, humble warrior, draping the chest down to the thigh or to the inside of that front thigh. Inhale, together we rise. Exhale, release. Let's breathe the arms up and float it down. One more vinyasa. Step back into your plank, adding the challenge that you're ready for. Moving through that mud. Using your breath to find power, strength, resilience. We'll meet in downward facing dog. When ready, breathe that, what would be my right leg, that same leg up again, and then round and squeeze. Planting that foot between the hands, dropping the heel, coming up into warrior two, taking up as much space as we're able, sinking down through the front foot, knee over ankle, and that front heel is intersecting the back foot. So pressing into the outer blade, so that pinky toe side. If it helps for you to draw the shoulders back by taking the palms up, then do that. But then keeping the shoulders the same, see if you can rotate the forearms down. Arms energetically reaching, maybe pulling back through the pinkies, and then soft gaze beyond the fingertips. You're doing a wonderful job in your warrior two. One more breath. You can always straighten that leg when you need a break. But now let's shift forward slightly from the hip on an inhale. Flip that palm. Exhale, find your peaceful warrior. Beautiful pose. Place that hand wherever it needs to be for support. Noticing maybe the heat in that front leg, being thankful for it. One more inhale. Exhale, cartwheeling the arms, keep the legs the same. Coming into your extended side angle. If that's too much on the shoulder, you can always sweep the arm back toward the hip and then reach forward, or simply keep it stacked. Find what works with your body. Cultivating gratitude, looking for the silver lining in every cloud. One more inhale. Exhale, sweep the arm down, hugging it in nice and close. And actually, let's stay here, lowering the knee down. So hopefully you're open to the front of the mat, or this front side of the mat. Let's take those toes and walk them out. So the toes are maybe off of the mat. The knee's going in the direction of the toes, the back knee is down. You can release to the top of the foot if you like. We want to lengthen forward. We're really stretching through the groin here. And then consider maybe lowering down if that feels good for you. We can be shifting. This doesn't have to be a static stretch. It can be dynamic, adding some movement. Maybe you prefer to stay lifted, keeping the opposite hand down and gently guiding that knee out. Maybe the hands stay down. You shift your weight forward onto that back knee, and you're able to bend that knee. Breathe the opposite arm up and reach for the top of the foot. Nice stretch through the psoas, the hip flexors. Stay at whatever level that you're at for one more breath. And then exhale, slowly release. Step that foot back. And breathing the other one forward. Walk the toes out. Heels stay in. Take up space, so inch that back knee back to a point that feels right for you. It's going to look different with everybody. And if you do decide to lower down, just make sure that you lengthen forward first. So we want to find that separation through the vertebrae and then take it down. You may not actually feel the separation, but that's what you want to be doing energetically. Open up those pathways. Release the tension that gravity and other things create. If you did it on the other side, maybe come onto that knee and reach it just in that general direction. Or maybe you keep the knee down and you just want to take the twist, and that's fine too. One more breath here. A slow release on the exhale. Come back to all fours. Send it back to child's pose just for a couple of breaths. Now, we did extended child's pose before. Another option is to bring hands toward the feet and head to the mat. So traditionally, we do take a final relaxation, or what is called Savasana. So if it is getting a little chilly in the area that you're in, grab whatever props you have, or if your socks are nearby, maybe put those on. But come onto your back in a comfortable pose for you. So for some of us, that would be with legs outstretched to the outer edges of the mat, with hands alongside the body, letting feet fall open naturally in what's called corpse pose. If you are in corpse pose, be sure that you walk your shoulder blades a little bit closer together to lift up through the heart. And then close your eyes. If this is not comfortable for you, consider maybe bending your knees and placing your feet on the outer edges of the mat and letting those knees fall together. If you have another pose that works for you, or you want to take an inversion, then take it now. So if you're in a bright space, maybe place something over your eyes so that you can allow the muscles of your face to relax. As we just notice the wonderful magic that all of those movements has made in our body, opening up the tight places and sending the tension and the negativity out, allowing the light to flow in and the darkness to fade. Knowing that with every breath, we invite in the healing energy that transfers to every cell in the body, allowing them to function at their fullest capabilities. And that includes the mind, the body, and the heart. So if you choose to extend your Savasana, please feel free to stay comfortable and cozy as long as the time allows. If you are ready to end your practice, maybe begin some small movements with the extremities, fingers, toes, ankles, wrists. And then slowly find your way to a seated pose of your choice. You can roll to one side and guide yourself up. Or you're still feeling energized, simply rock on up to seated. And you can find your hands in prayer or hands in the Lotus Mudra. But let's say aloud together our mantra, I am grateful. And then bringing hands to heart, I wish you peace in your heart. Taking thumb knuckles up to your lips, peace in your words, and thumb knuckles up to your forehead, your third eye, peace in your thoughts. And I wish you all a very happy holiday. Let's remember this is also